On this day of love, I am inspired to speak about and teach about the true feminine frequency. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Ashtamonia. I'm a teacher, seer, and mentor. I work with individuals all the way from new awakeners to highly advanced mystics and evolutionaries on the leading edge of evolution, who oftentimes have difficulty finding someone who can actually see me and support them. This transmission today is going to be high value. I highly encourage you to really sit, receive it, and receive it all the way to the end, because this is not only going to be a teaching that has value in it, it also has more than just what my words are. There's frequencies and encodements, deeper wisdom that's within it. So I invite you into reception, and I definitely invite you into reception over resistance. I'm going to be talking about that today as it relates to the feminine frequency. If you are here, say hello. I love to know that you're here, not just being an invisible voyeur behind the scenes, but like letting me know that you are receiving the wisdom that I bring through. If there's anything that you feel inspired by, feel free to also share in the comments, and I will return after I'm off of this live. Okay, last little logistical thing that I want to share here is that I am going to be, hi Lily, oh thank you, I love these earrings too. I am going to be utilizing this in my monthly newsletter subscription, but when we hit April, I'm going to be returning to subscribers only. So if you are not subscribed to my monthly newsletter, I bring through monthly video teaching transmissions that are essentially like being enrolled in a course for higher consciousness. You can find the link pinned here. If that is of interest to you, feel free to subscribe. Okay, let's drop in. I bring through teachings relative to masculine and feminine integration. My teachings are original transmissions. There's no mimicry. I'm not learning from other teachers. I'm bringing through the wisdom and information that is encoded in my energetic body as an oracle priestess and a woman who holds the original hum of the original mother, so the original creational frequency. I bring this frequency through from lifetime to lifetime, dimension to dimension, because one of my main core soul level missions is restoration. What this means is that when we have something like a fallen civilization, the original hum, the original frequency of the mother has been distorted. This is how we come to exist within something like a patriarchal matrix that centers the wounded masculine over centering the true feminine. When we bring in the original hum, the original frequency that is the original feminine frequency back into its divine right placement, when we deeply attune to it, when she is recentered, this creates birth. It's creational. It's creational rather than destruction, which is what happens when we take the masculine element and misplace him inside of her role. So if you think about the original hum, the original frequency of the original mother, of course she's going to bring through restoration because she brings through wholeness, whereas a distorted frequency is going to bring through fragmentation. So when we are existing in a patriarchal matrix, what is happening is that we are going through a process of fragmentation that severs us from that original frequency. It also severs you at a soul level. It basically distorts the frequencies inside of your soul's umbilical cord that is meant to connect in with the original mother. That's work that I facilitate to include on one-on-one work. I repair umbilical cords so that people's souls can be connected to that original frequency, which brings them back into health and wholeness. So, when we're existing inside of a patriarchal matrix, there are distorted frequencies that misdirect the current of the goddess, misdirect the feminine frequency to fuel and feed the distortion itself. This is also why I work with women to heal the womb and reclaim their sovereign womb, because to reclaim her sovereign womb is to uphold the responsibility of the original hum of the original mother and the feminine frequency in divine right order, in order to also preserve that frequency so that it is not misdirected and misused, in order to continuously create a distorted matrix such as the patriarchy. Okay, so when I'm talking about masculine and feminine integration, I use the word base code. So love is based in feminine. Truth is based in masculine. Feminine is love. She is harmony, which also equals sound, which equals frequency. This makes sense as to why she's also connected to feeling. The masculine is connected to thinking, structure, truth, as I mentioned, and also sight and light. So before light was ever born, sound, the original hum of the original mother, was there. It was through the original hum and the original mother that she birthed the sun. Think about it as two ways, like sun, masculine, her actual masculine sun, but also like sun, like sun, sun, like light. She birthed light into being. And light is meant to attune to the harmonies, the frequencies of the feminine, to be inspired by her in order to create through light things that are physical, like the physical dimension, things that are needing structure. So when masculine and feminine energetics and dynamics are in alignment, the masculine is attuning to the frequency of the feminine as his inspiration for what it is that he ends up building. Okay. I oftentimes refer to the patriarchal matrix as broke ass architecture, because that is literally what it is. We cannot have divine right structure without it being attuned to the original frequency of the original mother. When we have broke ass architecture, it creates falls, it creates de-evolution, which is absolutely polar to the feminine frequency that bursts life, that is creational, that also does not stagnate by recreating something that already exists. As in, what I'm saying is the feminine frequency leads through the unknown. She is able to birth that which has not yet become. The masculine does not do that. That is not his role. So what happens when the masculine is placed in the center, where the feminine frequency is meant to live, is it brings through distorted energetics, structures, and frequencies that create stagnation and de-evolution. All it can do is repeat cycles. So think about this as a multidimensional human, if you are that and you're listening, how this thing that I'm pointing to mimics the exact pattern of every fall that has ever happened. The exact same loop continues to loop and de-evolve, and we fall as a humanity species into lower frequency dimensions. Okay, this is the example I'm going to also offer. Think about how difficult it is to actually receive frequencies that are of higher octaves when you are in a dense field of distortion. It's like those pure frequencies have a lot of difficulty being received by someone who is operating at a lower octave. So in a human to human ground level kind of way. Think about a man who is existing with a ton of patriarchal imprinting and conditioning, and how he lacks the ability to connect with the feminine, to connect with his romantic counterpart, to actually hear what women are speaking, to have any empathy for women's experiences that are very quite obvious in this human experience. This is what I'm meaning. This also connects into a deep oracle wound, because oracles, many of them, I would say maybe all of them, but I don't want to speak for everyone, have some form of access to the original frequencies. Oracles and priestess women hold these frequencies inside of their body to include in their womb. And this also includes their energetic body, but it does correspond to her physical body. And so priestesses and oracles have a responsibility to uphold the true memory. Okay, this is very important. I say memory is also equal to water. Water is equal to the feminine. Memory and water, like the feminine womb, holds all time, all space, all memory ever. So what happens in a patriarchal matrix is that the memory gets distorted so that it can no longer be accessed. So think about like ground level, how there's been so many agendas to distort the actual true and factional events that have taken place. Let's also look at things like texts that have taken priestess sacred scrolls, text and wisdom, destroyed them, made the feminine invisible, and then rewrote over it to become something like religion. This also happens relative to the Akashic in the Akash. Okay, in my teachings, this is what Gaia told me. She told me, Ashton, take the ick out of the Akash, because that is where the inverted, rewritten, infiltrated versions of the memory to include past lives exist. Go into the pure record, the Akash, and I was already going into the pure record. I didn't realize that was what I was doing until it was kind of broken down to me. But there is the Akash, which is the pure memory, the pure record. Part of what I'm saying is that when we reattune to the true feminine frequency, it brings back actual memory, like the true record through all time and all space. It automatically clears out the broken architecture, the fragmentation, and the distorted frequency. So all of a sudden, we can receive what is true, made of love, made of wholeness, made of creational energies, attuned to the original feminine, which is also attuned to original creational principles. We want the feminine centered because the feminine brings in wholeness. Now, here is the piece that I'm pointing to relative to oracles. Oracles oftentimes, and I know this through my lived experience, feel like they are speaking these frequencies through wisdom that they bring through the codes that they hold. They are speaking the truth into a distorted collective field that, instead of receiving her, because it is more calibrated to the distortions, resists her. What I'm pointing to is reception versus resistance. Resistance calibrates to resistance energy. So this is also where these ideas that the feminine doesn't lead and the masculine leads, that is a distortion. It is there to make sure that women's voices, particularly oracular, wisdom keepers, women who hold the original hum inside of their womb, such as myself, are not heard. That aches within the oracle and also the priestess collective quite deeply. But here is the thing. Just like you could take a sacred scroll or a book out of a priestess temple, you can hide it for a period of time. You could rewrite over top of it. You can't actually fully destroy it. And the reason why it can't be fully destroyed is because priestesses and oracular women such as myself will always hold it in frequency form. Before anything is ever written, there's a frequency before it. and the frequency itself preserves it. So, what I'm pointing to is that the frequency of the feminine, the original hum, preserves literally everything. It ultimately cannot be destroyed, it can only be distorted, and distorted energies can create resistance over reception. So I encourage you all to be in a space with me to really receive what it is that I'm saying. And I mean, receive it at a deeper level than you even think you could, because if you do, it will bring you back into wholeness. This is why my work, the like kind of a core foundation of it, is about personal evolution and personal soulful wholeness, leading to planetary restoration, which is equal to collective evolution. I am a woman who holds the original frequency, the original hum of the original mother. I emanate it. What this also means is that relative to the field that I hold, and you know this if you work with me, the field that I hold is a magnet and an anchor. What happens is that the frequency of the original mother that hums through my body automatically will bring you back into remembrance and wholeness. I have clients that have come to me and they have never had a single past life recollection. And in one session, they contact me afterwards and are like, you would not believe how many memories have been retrieved by me. Like, I have never experienced anything like this in my life. It is also why I can sense and see and feel people at a soul essence. Because when my field comes into contact with you and I'm bringing the original feminine frequency in that hum, it literally is connecting back into the deepest truths within you. Your soul is always going to be held whole. There's only things that can disrupt it and sort of prevent you from accessing it. But within my range and my field, your soul is always going to be attuned to. You're going to feel me sensing you. I can read through your purest memory and records. I can feel you at a soul level. What then happens? Well, what then happens is that you not only are brought back into remembering and hopefully embodying your soul essence, but all of the distortions, all of the blocks, the barriers, and the debris. So the impure frequencies, the patriarchal imprinting, the broken architecture, on and on and on and on, it will be illuminated in my presence, because my presence is of the original mother, which is going to call you back in through that original frequency into your soulful wholeness. And the only way to do that is by unraveling and breaking up the distortion in your field. Where people get caught up is in the resistance energy. So instead of being like, you know what, this is uncomfortable to some degree, but I'm going to receive that frequency. I'm going to receive that medicine. I'm going to take it all the way to the bottom of my bones, to the core of my soul, and I'm going to let it liberate me. I'm going to have it initiate me. I am going to receive it in such fullness that it reminds me of exactly everything that I am, everything I'm meant to be, my true path, my purpose, all of that. Bring it back in. When someone comes to me and actually has that degree of reception, everything changes. Oh, does everything change? But when someone comes to me and they're not receptive for the medicine, they're not receptive to the original frequency of the original mother, there's just going to push back through resistance energy that is essentially going to attack me. It's going to try to make me invisible. It's going to try to lessen my voice. It's going to try to villainize me. It's going to try all of these techniques that the patriarchal matrix is ongoingly using in order for all of humanity to be stagnant and de-evolving and not progressing into its actual wholeness and evolution. It's the same mechanisms on a personal level, relational level, as it is on a collective level. And so this is why I speak about the feminine and recentering the feminine as being literally one of the most, it is probably the most important things that we can do as a humanity in order to get, like, right the wrongs, to get us back on course. If you're interested in this topic, recentering the feminine, I have an incredible master course. It's a 3-hour master course. I've got bonus audio transmissions. It will change your life. And it brings through teachings that are integrative, they're multidimensional, they're relational. I will show you ground level skills of how to recenter the feminine in your relational dynamic. I know that a lot of people right now, and I'm glad that it's being spoken, are saying we need to decenter men. Yes, absolutely. That is true. Okay, but in this evolutionary progression, decentering men isn't as important as recentering the feminine. And so I'm bringing teachings through at a far higher octave that are here for the evolutionary human who is genuinely here to anchor in a new paradigm. Like that's what I'm here for. Those are the people I'm here for. So if recentering the feminine and this topic, this transmission today speaks to your soul, I highly encourage you to go to my link in my bio. You can also see the link inside of my pinned comments here, and it'll allow you to subscribe to my newsletter, see all of my offerings, including the Recentering the Feminine Masterclass. I hope that this transmission has met you well. The very last thing that I would like to say to let you all know that I have an incredible free, it's a no cost 2-day offering that I'm bringing through. I'm working on the landing page right now, so it's not completely done. I don't have a link for you at this time. I just want to put it on your radar. This is an attunement. It's the attunement, a soulful refresh. I know that there's a lot of collective happenings right now that are very heavy. There's a lot of density in the field. And we have the opportunity, particularly in this year of the fire horse, to create momentum and levity. And so there's a kind of soul level fatigue that not everyone experiences. There's a soul level fatigue that mystics, seers, feelers, new paradigm creators experience. Like an example, there's a difference in fatigue that is just a human level fatigue versus a multi-lifetime, I've been on this mission over and over and over again type of fatigue. There's a different fatigue for a pure-hearted human who's existing in a desensitized world. There's a different kind of fatigue for someone who can see beyond the veil when others cannot, right? So this no cost 2-day, it's like a mini retreat for soulful restoration, is going to happen in March. Mark your calendars. It's the 21st and the 22nd. I am going to bring through a really beautifully encoded, immersive experience that is going to bring you in closer proximity to higher octave frequencies. And I'm going to bring through a little bit of a teaching on the why. That's always important so that you can receive more when you move through the immersive energetic experience that I facilitate. And then on day 2, so on March 22nd, I'm going to be opening up a public forum and space for everyone who registers to receive direct intuitive coaching from me. I can't guarantee that you will have time. I'm going to get to as many people as I can. This is an incredible opportunity to experience this work. Just because this event is no cost does not mean that it is not of value. Everything that I bring through, the transmissions, the things that I do are high value and high quality. So again, make sure to mark this on your calendars. I hope to see you all there. If any of you have questions about any of my offerings, the newsletter, Recentering the Feminine, the no-cost event, or one-on-one work with me, anything at all, always feel free to get in contact with me through direct messenger. Last, actually, and final thing is please do share my words and my work. I got that oracular wound going on. I'm screaming in to the field that feels like a void, and these teachings need to be received. So please help support my mission by sharing my words, my work, my name, praises over my name. I really appreciate each and every one of you who is here, who has lasted to the end and has been receptive. As always, so much love, but particularly on this day of love. So much love to you.